Welcome to Balls and Brews. Cheers, boys.
Cheers.
Cheers, gentlemen. Ooh, that was a good one, yeah. Welcome back, y'all. Welcome back.
Lots to talk about today. Lots to talk about. Yeah, it's not bad.
Oh, that's
All
delicious.
All right.
Thank you,
That's
June
really
Lake.
good. Good job, Trev.
What the fruit kettle sour? Okay, so do you guys have notes of papaya, acai? I definitely get the pineapple.
I get the
Yeah,
pineapple.
it says hints of pineapple, but I get more pineapple than anything else. I do get some acai because it kind of does have that like. Do you want to call it like purple flavor? Because it's not great. Like acai does have a very specific flavor, but
Yeah.
kind of like blueberry, like the purple berry flavor.
Yeah, I think so.
Do you get a little bit of that?
A little bit.
Okay.
You get another swig of this back.
You can also sours are just like any other beer where if you actually let it sit and open for a little bit, you'll definitely get different notes as you go along. But the drinks at 5%. June Lake Brewery is exactly out of June Lake, California. So pretty easy to know there. Thanks for purveying this, Trev. So
Stop with the actual
I
brewery.
was gonna say, let's hear what else did you have?
We did two flights.
Nice.
Or was it just one flight? I think I did two flights because I wanted to try a lot of them. We were passing through on our trip down through California, and it's kind of close to Yosemite. We got up there, a lot of snow still up there. It was nice,
Coincidentally, with no news about this conversation, I am wearing my June Lake Brew Fest from 2015. So shout out! It's a beautiful fucking area, dude, for sure.
Yeah,
and they make really good beer.
Or skiing or snowboarding, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, that's the main attraction. So like now's their go time for sure when it's
Yeah, and Heather and I, we sampled a bunch of different beers. This, which is one of our favorites, and she doesn't care for sours
as much as some
and
other.
she's closer to where Zach is.
It's my favorite sour that I've ever had.
All right.
Okay, there's as good of an endorsement as you will get, June Lake.
I have a question.
That's the way.
Is every sour a 0 IBU?
Yes, because because you can sour an IPA. So an IBU is like bitterness, right? Based off of the hoppiness, the profile.
That's why I was asking.
Yeah, no, it can. No,
so you can sour an IPA.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. They're weird. They're very. That's a version of like sours that I don't really typically enjoy.
It doesn't sound like it'd be very good.
It's kind of an odd concept.
Have you had a sour IPA, Trev?
I don't believe so.
Although I do like I do like Golden Monkey, which is a sour tripel. Like that's a golden sour tripel, and that's fucking delicious. But sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
You're good. I mean, I've seen them before at like some of because we go to those big craft like shops and to look. So you'll find them there, but I don't believe I've ever had one.
I've never had one.
No, you wouldn't try one. You're mid on certain IPAs anyway, so if it says sour in front of you, you're not gonna.
I want.
But I've had sour stouts. I've had
really.
I would say the only thing that I don't know if I've ever had soured would be like, I've had a bock, but not like a wheat beer, like a Heffy. I don't know if I've ever had a sour Heffy. I think outside of that, anything with like malt or barley or even obviously hops, like I've had like sour versions of.
Have you seen a sour Heffy?
That's what I'm saying. I don't think so. Because if I would have tried it for sure. I'm always curious. Like sour browns are actually really good. That's one of the OG, like reds and browns are the OG sours actually. The fruit sours came way later.
I had the raspberry red and the Irish red at the Fox the other day. Talking about reds.
Those are always good.
Yeah,
that one's super heavy on the raspberry.
It is. It is. And then the chocolate cherry stout is absolutely delicious. That's a really good beer at the Fox.
Yep.
If you let that one open, you can get more of the cherry. It takes a little while for that to open up. It's very stouty up front.
Oh, dude, it's thick and thick.
That is a good overall good beer out there. So we shared quite the fancy beer so we haven't recorded in a couple of weeks. So we watched the conference championships last week together, and we drank. It was by Ale Song. It was called Helsing. It was a bourbon barrel aged milk stout. That was very good.
It was good, and then
drank a 9.25.
Interesting.
I brought it to him because I brought in like several like bourbon barrel aged stouts. and he was always like schmant on them. And I was like, I know he loves melt stouts, and I was like, if they age the melt stout, maybe it'll stay a little sweeter, and it worked. It did. It was a little sweeter than like some of the barrel ages that we've had before, and it got a positive review across the house.
That hazy that we drank.
Yeah, that was pretty good too.
Yeah, I finished it off the other day. The last one off the other day.
Who's the brewery? I can't remember.
I should have taken.
That was a double hazy. It was the cats. That was the cats. Like it was like cats in pajamas or something like that. It was a cool cat.
Cool ass can.
Orange cat.
Something like that.
Something.
But it was double IPA. Drank it like a 7.2 or 7.5.
Still was pretty easy.
Yeah, and it was a hazy, but it was definitely hazy.
Yeah,
like it was a definitely double.
That juice look. I love that unpasteurized.
But it wasn't like super juicy though. It had like the juicy super look, but it definitely was more IPA-ish than hazy, even though it had like that crazy hazy look.
Yeah, it was good. That was good beer. Good pull, Chuck. No, shout out to Craft, man. They're always turning their stock over, and there's always something new to look at in that cooler. Like, even if it's just a week in between, there's normally a handful of different, like, those little 4-packs that we like to get. You know, that's kind of the thing in the brew world now. 6-packs are pretty much dead. It's the tall boys. It's the 4 tall boys. It's the pack that you're pretty much getting anywhere you go.
Have you noticed that Lead Dog sometimes has...
Ooh, I got a Lead Dog stock.
Has sometimes, or in like the 12-ounce cans, the 6-packs now sometimes, or not
Well,
always.
They do that? No, because I have the leftover peanut butter out in the 12
Yeah, because they're not...
like the fade orange.
Yeah.
Maybe they're flagships in 6-packs.
Yeah.
But I did have, it was funny, I love that you bring that up, that's good cue. I had passive aggressive sticky notes, which is a great name for a beer, and it's a mocha stout. So it's a white mocha stout, and it's super fucking good. Yeah. So my pops, he is a beast, bro, when it comes to local beer. Like, he's always stopping by the brewery district right there, like actually up the street from where we're at, off of 4th and Wells. And Sleeve is right there. I had another one by them called Amber Waves as well. You guys would love that. That was a straightforward amber. Drank it like 5%. It was just an easygoing all day amber that we had there. Yeah. So shout out to all the local breweries. Imbibe just had a drop yesterday of their 2024 Jar Bridge. I'm gonna go pick that up, but I don't know if I'll drink that with y'all because that is a heavy. That's like a strong ale aged in bourbon. It's fucking. It's like drinking motor oil.
I got a wine that I want to drink at home that's aged in bourbon barrels.
Oh yeah,
I saw that. Yeah.
I like that.
1924, I think it's called.
So you gotta. Okay, being that you've had them before, what flavor profile does it give you?
Didn't we drink the Apotheco one like that together, Trev?
Yeah,
it makes it like
sweeter. I've seen those. I've never had it.
Well,
you get that whiskey sweet, but that a little bit of that whiskey burn.
Does it like smell smoky then, like or no?
Not necessarily smoky. Okay. It's more just you get that like almost the bourbon, the sweetness with the bourbon. And then, but you still kind of get like that, like it's
a little more of a burn than you would normally get with.
This is really good.
I think I thought I drank that Apotheco one with you.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we did.
So, boys, let's jump into this crazy world of college football that we have out there.
Do we need to talk about a couple of points?
Yeah.
So let's start with last night. Travis Hunter was named Heisman. First time a two-way player has played this many snaps, and he's not just like a slot corner or something. He's literally the number 1 corner and the number 1 wide receiver in this draft. He might be the number 2 corner if you thought Will Johnson, the kid out of Michigan's better, but otherwise Travis Hunter is the number 1 in 2 different positions.
Yeah, and that's why I think they gave him the Heisman. I mean, no one's done this before. No one. I mean, Barry Sanders' record, 30 years old, but no one has ever done what he's done. All the snaps that he's playing and the quality of snaps, that is nuts.
He played almost 1,200 total snaps. It was like 1,160 something. It was absurd. The fact that he stayed healthy for the vast majority of the year,
man. Iron Man.
I mean, I still call me a fucking football Nazi or purist or whatever, but I think Genty should have won that award. I thought he absolutely played lights out. He led Boise State to the number 3 overall seed and a bye in the first 12-team playoff. That's fucking huge.
Yeah, I mean, you can't talk about this Heisman without him.
You can't talk about this year without him. True. And I'm not saying that Travis Hunter, he's a great player, clearly. In the NFL, you will have to decide. I know teams are obviously, going over that already as to like what side of the ball he's most beneficial, barring what they need the most, I guess, or even if he's going to be there at that point in the draft, because right now those quarterbacks are going to get bumped up to the top of the board per usual. For like Shador or not even Dylan Gabe, but Cam Ward is probably number 2, right? So, I mean, those will get pushed up to the top. So Travis Hunter will be the first non-quarterback selected, right? We can pretty much agree about that.
Most likely.
Yeah. I mean, where else are you going to go, right? Like there
isn't the offensive tackle.
Or defensive lineman that necessarily, right?
Maybe you could go and do a Carter. He's in a test off the.
He will kill the Underwear Olympics.
Oh, dude, he's in a test so crazy. And watching him play for Penn State, dude,
I think he's going to be legit coming in.
He carries on that Chop Robinson, Micah Parsons role.
Gentine maybe. I doubt it. The only person that would knock him off would be a Carter from Penn State. Would be the only person that would go ahead.
Given the premium on the position of pass rusher, yeah. I understand the take. That makes a lot of sense because you're not, dude. Saquon was the last. Well, Bijan was taking 7 or 8, 7 somewhere, top 10. He was the last one. And
Gentine's going to go top 10.
You think? He doesn't fall out of the 10?
It's going to be real.
Put it on the wax right now.
I have to look because I got to see who's in the 10.
Sure.
I mean,
but back to college football, I think it was kind of a sham. I think that he got robbed. I really do.
I don't know.
Don't like it.
I was back and forth on it. I was kind of rooting for him since he was from Boise, but it's hard to discount what Travis Hunter did on both sides of the ball and being elite. It's not like he was just a slot corner. He was elite on both sides of the ball. Interceptions, touchdowns, yards, all that shit on offensive, with touchdowns, yards, and catches. And then defensively, people didn't really throw over there, and he was picking balls off. I think he deserved it. It took me a little bit to get there, but I do think he deserved it.
Yeah, agreed. Same.
God damn it, Trev. All right, let's get into the actual this first weekend's matchups, right? Do we want to where are we going?
Let's talk about the seeding, and then let's talk about this actual bracket.
The way the seeding worked or fell specifically?
Yeah, well, let's go through where everybody's at, and then I want to ask you guys about this thing. Okay, so number 1 obviously is Oregon, undefeated all year. They should be number 1. Number 2 is Georgia because they beat Texas in the SEC title game. Number 3 is Boise State because they're a conference champion. And number 4 is Arizona State because they're a conference champion. So those 4 have byes. Okay. Now, Oregon would get the winner of Tennessee at number 9, or Ohio State at 8. Fucking Georgia gets the winner of Indiana or Notre Dame. Boise State gets the winner of SMU and Penn State. And Arizona State gets the winner of Clemson and Georgia. So those are where everything falls.
Okay.
Are you guys happy with the way this is seeded out?
I don't know if I'm happy with all of the teams that made it and the ones that didn't. I get why the ones that are there are the ones that are there. There's some good matchups.
Which team do you think should not be in?
This is going to be controversial over. I've listened to both takes going back and forth to, I still think Alabama is a better team than SMU from top to bottom and would be more compelling in the playoff.
How do you feel about Indiana making it?
I know that's another one where I'm just not sure about the caliber of that team over a caliber like South Carolina or Ole Miss or these teams that were truly battle tested against, the thick of the SEC. Now, yes, they had 3 losses, but, they played.
Strength of schedule's got
shit, but it got shit on, is what this 12 kind of shows you. I mean, they did kind of what they thought, it's going to lead to heavy debate in the offseason. I believe so. What do you guys think?
I mean, can you say some of those teams got shit on them when you lose 3 games?
No, that's the easy argument for sure. Absolutely.
Alabama, look, I get it.
They should have beaten Oklahoma
than SMU and Indiana, most likely, and their highs are high. But they also showed that their lows are lower than both of those schools. It feels like. But three losses in the teams that they lost to. I mean, Tennessee was good. The other team, Vanderbilt.
Yeah, Vandy.
I think
Oklahoma wasn't a good team this year.
I think that the loss to Oklahoma kept
because
out.
Oh,
I think so too.
simply because the week before Oklahoma got washed.
Just don't lose 3 games.
No, for sure. I once again, that's the easy argument, and I can't refute that, right? I'm not going to die on the hill that I'm talking about. What I'm just saying though is I think that the better matchups would have been with some of those teams that didn't get in.
That's what I was saying though. Is it's the difference from kind of did you earn that spot,
Right? Or you
are
just projected to be one of the 12 best teams in the nation,
Yeah.
kind of thing.
I'm not.
Records gotta matter. Records gotta fucking matter. They do.
Well, I think that's why that.
But so does strength of schedule. So does strength of schedule.
But I think this is why the playoff was expanded too, is to include these other schools to get more
walloped.
representation.
Yeah.
I mean,
But we'll see how it
I don't
plays.
think the walloping's going to be any worse than it was the 4 teams. There was some wallops.
There was a couple of beatdowns. There was.
I'm not so irritated with the teams that are in. I'm more
He's
irritated.
normally irritated.
I'm more irritated with the way that the bracket is set up. I think that it should be reseeded. I think that if we're going to give you're your number 1 team in the nation for a reason, you should get the worst team that wins the game.
That's
the next week, like the
NFL
NFL
tournament is
like
always
So I don't love that, dude. Oregon gets fucked getting Tennessee and Ohio State when Boise State could end up getting Penn State. Texas's road is through Arizona State and Clemson. I mean, you're fucking setting some of these teams up. Georgia gets Indiana or Notre Dame. Okay, that's why but I mean, it's just you should be 1 through 4, and it should be number 1 gets the worst team in the next week. Why? Well, there's no benefit to getting Tennessee or fucking Ohio State. Those 2 teams could go win it too. You know, I mean, I'm more irritated with how it's set bracket wise, where it just doesn't get reseeded like the NFL. I think I understand the arguments with SMU and Indiana. They won the games they were in front of them, so you give them those props. But I do not love the way the bracket's set up, and I don't think that the 4 conference champions should be 1 through 4. I think the 4 best teams in the nation should be 1 through 4.
I agree. They were talking about this on ESPN. I was listening this week. Having the higher rankings. I like the teams that win their conference championship. They should, since they've earned that, they should still get a home game, but they don't have to be ranked 4 or 3. They can.
I think they just
don't even get the bye. Yeah.
I think they just get in. If you say, I don't mind if you're not in the 12, like how Arizona State was out, but they won the Big 10. I like them getting in. Big 12. I like them getting into the show.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like that they're number 4.
Jumping right
Yeah.
Exactly.
Give them 12. Even if Boise State is like number 13 and you don't have another Power 5 in, give them the 12. I don't mind that. I don't think you give them buys.
Yeah, don't give them buys. Give them home games.
Or don't even give them that. Just let them get into the
I
dance.
think you earned that home game.
Okay.
1,000%.
If you win your conference, I think you should get a home game in the playoffs.
Okay.
I'm
down with that.
But if you were to rewind the CFP bracket literally 2 to 3 weeks before the actual finale of the season, none of the 2 teams that got the bye, Boise State was like on the outside looking in as far as like they were going to be that 12th seed forever, and then Arizona State wasn't even a thing.
And neither was
Wasn't
SMU.
in
And
existence.
SMU was way far back, and so is Clemson.
Clemson, right? Yeah. So I mean, you're talking about like in the last week, the conference championships changed 3 seeds, 3 drastic seeds, like immediately. Pop, pop, pop.
I just also think that
That's what
strength of schedule has to play a role.
And we were talking about with more
That's why Ohio State's in where they're in.
Correct. And that's why Texas really didn't fall because they shouldn't have fell too far.
Well, no.
But we talked about expansion. I don't think expansion's like limited the playoffs or limited the excitement for the football at the end of the season. The season is still as valuable as it was.
I think the season.
I think the season was
amazing.
It was incredible.
I loved it.
Yeah.
But it is crazy that Texas is technically 3 in the nation and they're the number 5 seed. Like it.
Well, that's boo boo. That's boo boo.
It's kind of weird.
It's boo boo.
It is.
Hey,
What are we doing, committee?
Well, especially the second part or the second step within that is that I agree with the reseeding of low should always play high.
Yeah.
Period. In a one-game tournament,
In a
that's
one-game
exactly
tournament,
why
it's
it's
below
very
versus
different
high.
when it's
You earn the number one seed.
for a reason.
Number one
I know.
seed shouldn't be getting fucking Tennessee or Ohio State.
I agree. Yeah. No, that's
Double I figured it, but what if this makes better games?
It does.
But I want.
It can.
I still want to see. I know Chucky's not. I'm pulling for Oregon to take it home. There's not another. I know you're not.
You can't.
But
we can.
Is there who? I mean, who is that?
We deserve it this year, man.
Since
I
you're
will
not pulling for
set a
Oregon,
fire in the middle of my living room if Oregon gets the first 12-team college football
So are
playoff
you-
title.
are you gonna root for Texas or
The field,
Georgia?
The field. I don't
Everybody.
care. Anybody but Oregon in this case.
Really?
Oh, my Lord.
There's not another school that
that's
you
my
can
chief rival.
even give a
Fuck
little
the
love to?
Ducks. Oh, a little love to?
Would it be like Tennessee, or are you gonna go Texas?
Who
I
do
wouldn't
you
mind
enjoy
seeing
watching of the group?
Oh, like out of the
Or you
out
wanna
of
see
all
for
of
the school?
teams, I guess like I want to see Boise State go a little far, but I don't think that they're gonna be. I don't think that they're gonna, when they really get to the big dogs, be able to keep up. Notre Dame could surprise some people because they actually have a squad.
Their
that
defense is stout.
yeah, and if Riley Leonard doesn't turn the ball over, and they have, I forget the kid's name and running back, but he's playing pretty well too.
Dude, running backs are the best position.
But
in the
okay,
draft.
so no, I mean for real, it's just anybody but Oregon. Really, when I look at the like SMU, sure, cool. Any underdog is fine. That's in there. Indiana would be a good story. I don't care. Just not Oregon. Literally anybody but Oregon.
Arizona State?
Sure.
Okay.
I mean, I heard their old Pac-12 Heat or whatever, but nothing compared to the Ducks. Not a shot.
Let's go from one bracket to another bracket, one that
Yeah.
nobody really cares about. The NBA in-season tournament. Hey,
We're gonna make some extra money. Extra money.
It's basic. I mean, I have literally, boys. I have a confession to make. I have watched about 5 to 6 minutes of basketball this year. That's like total.
I watch my Warriors, but don't catch every game. Just with my schedule.
Yeah, I barely.
I haven't been on a basketball tip this season very much, which is crazy because I normally love the NBA. But just to round off, we'll give a quick in and out. Oklahoma City Thunder versus the Milwaukee Bucks for the chip. It's down to the final game.
Bucks are actually kind of playing pretty good. Just keeping up with stats and highlights. Bucks are playing pretty good basketball right now.
Well, Giannis is a fucking tank.
Yeah, it's good to see that because after last season, for sure,
It had been a
they're
couple of
playing this
years.
well right now.
It had been a couple of years that he'd been this dominant for sure.
And OKC, I mean, them and the Rockets, the round
Rockets playing
before.
good, man.
Yes.
That's the old stats. I forgot that the old Celtics coach, the guy that got fired, is the Rockets coach. The one that was in before this Joe guy. Remember Vive Menduka or whatever? He got fired for like the sexual harassment.
Yeah,
or like he was dating somebody and then something or
something like that.
something going down.
There was some extramarital activity.
Yeah.
And trouble off the field.
Yeah, dude,
But he's the coach of the Rockets right now.
In Mecca Duque or whatever the hell,
Yeah.
something like
Yeah,
that.
I was trying to
It's
look
something
for
close to that.
Yeah.
But we're not gonna put no respect on his name.
Well, we've got the Rockets one.
I don't care. We're bringing in the whiteboard for the shit lister. I forgot to bring it home, but I have a big ass whiteboard that we're gonna set up for the
When I
shit
got
list.
here today, I was wondering if you were going to have that out.
No, I should have.
Who's got the best handwriting?
I'm not I got scribbles.
We'll have to work on it.
I could probably stop and try to write better, but when I just normally write, ain't nobody gonna be able to read it. I mean, look at that. That's just scribbles.
Anything else on b-ball right now? Trade deadline's coming up. The Warriors just made one trade with Schroeder.
Yeah, I saw that.
Do you think anything big happens? I could really use my Lakers to trade somebody.
I haven't really seen any noise about who could move and what.
We are the exact team I thought we were going to be. Just
Now, is that a good or a bad thing?
Not good.
Not
We're not
good.
good.
Well, I knew you thought you weren't going to be good, but
We need some.
So what do you
we
do?
We need somebody else. We need a third.
Big name on the block is Butler.
He's not coming to us.
you need to just let LeBron ride off into the sunset. He needs to let go of the stranglehold of that team. And
Well, we need somebody else to That's why I wanted to get somebody else that would come in after. Be that.
There's just juice in so many other different directions in the NBA rather than the Lakers right now.
I know. But Is that it on the NBA?
Oh yeah, that's it. Keep up with it if you want, but for now we're just cooling on.
So where do you want to start this MLB conversation? Do you want to start at this ridiculous fucking rule they're trying to implement, or do you want to start with some of these big ass contracts that got signed?
Well, okay, I think the biggest news and the factual one is the Juan Soto signing to the Mets for $756 million.
765.
Sorry, my bad. I flipped them. Yeah, I didn't mean to short you the $9 million that you do, bro.
It's ridiculous. He is not worth that. He doesn't play two positions. He is a so outfielder, and he only hits 285. I know his OPS is great. He hits 285 career, averages probably like 30 bombs, averages 95 to 125 RBIs. That doesn't get you 765. I hope the Mets fucking fail on this contract. I cannot wait for it to fail.
They swung and missed on him.
That's so New York.
Well, they hit on Lindor and they hit on a couple others, but some of those big pitching ones didn't go very good. 765, boys. 15 years, 765. 15 years. What the fuck?
Baseball money.
Well, it's fully guaranteed, right?
Fully guaranteed unless like something crazy happens.
Of course I'm signing that. I don't care, dude. I don't care what team that's with. If that's I'm serious, dude. If that's the number you're putting in front of me, yeah, no, that's okay. That's a little different. I mean, in America, all right. I'm not going and playing for blood money.
Okay.
But I say that sitting here now, I see a check for $700 million. I don't know how I could really withhold all that. I'll be honest with you guys. Maybe I'm weak. I've never exactly. Not even.
I ain't ever been in front of me.
I've never even seen $1,000 where they're like, here, you can have this if you sign this right now, kind of thing.
Other big contract. Yankees go get there another starting pitcher out of that rotation. They go get Max Fried, 8-year, 218.
At least I think that's a smart investment.
I do too. I think that they actually. I'm gonna give them credit. They came out and said, we went for one, but we weren't gonna offer that much money.
Fuck no.
The Dodgers stopped.
They could have. They have that money. They're the fucking Yankees.
The Dodgers stopped at 6. But how weird would it look when you sign him to 765 and his doubles Aaron Judge's like $300 million contract? You know what I'm saying? Aaron Judge is way more Yankee than Juan Soto. So I think that signing a pitcher is way better for the Yankees. That makes that rotation kind of scary. If he stays healthy, you got him and Garrett Cole.
Yeah, I think it's a better investment too.
I agree.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that they could have. The Yankees have more money than the rest of the world do.
I'm glad they did.
They could do the Dodger thing and start sending out deferred $800 million contracts if they wanted to. Like the Yankees are crazy, man. They're deep. They've actually reeled in their spending, as it were. They spend appropriately, which I think is cool because that if a guy hits your table that you really want, they will keep him, kind of thing. At least you can be confident in that.
Aaron Judge should be a Yankee for life.
I mean, until he shows signs of, I guess, failure, because eventually,
He'll just go to the DH line.
Dude, for sure, because he's such a big body, you can just move. Yeah, he doesn't have to field forever.
And that was the other thing, too.
He'll be able to swing a bat for a good minute, assuming that he doesn't blow his back out.
The other thing, too, with Juan Soto is that you already have Giancarlo, and, he's already kind of DHing, so you can't really have Juan Soto not play great outfield and then move him into a DH role.
Not for that kind of money.
Yeah, Giancarlo in that role. So,
not for that kind of money.
But good job, Yankees, signing Max Fried. The A's go out and make a big contract.
Hey, Luis Severino!
$65 million.
Biggest contract in A's history.
Went out and made a trade for Smiley from the Rays. Came off Tommy John last year. He was 2-2 with an ERA of like 3.15. I'm fucking in the feelings.
Exactly what
it's called Dubs.
It's called Dubs. That is your boy Fisher coming out saying, "Fuck, dude, if we're gonna get to Vegas, we gotta win some games this next year." Yeah, otherwise they're not gonna get commissioned that fucking building because nobody wants a fucking loser.
We're making a run towards the end. You got some guys that are playing really well. You got Lawrence Butler, Rook. You got a lot of guys that are playing really well right now.
Okay.
So, then start getting these two starters and mixing in with some of the young starters you already have on the staff. one more veteran player, a veteran hitter, man.
Okay.
All right.
We're making a play. We're making a play,
There you
dude.
go. Look at you.
Yeah, Brent Rooker, fucking JJ Belay.
I will say MLB. It's
My
good
God,
that
Law Dog,
If you
Lawrence
can
Butler.
stay
That
in
kid's
the
sick.
headlines, while football and basketball,
football seasons are going on, well, that means you're doing something right.
This is not a good headline.
Which is what?
This new fucking rule.
I'm going to lay it out here.
It's
I'm laying it out here.
before we get into the discussion of this rule, how certain are we that they're even attempting to put this rule into place?
Rob Manfred, I think, is trying to move it into place.
Okay, well, that means something.
I hope it doesn't go through. So it's called the Golden Bat Rule. I hope everybody's heard about it. If they haven't, here it goes. Basically, if you are anywhere in your lineup, say you have bases loaded and there's like 2 outs, and you have like your number 9 hitter up, your number 8 hitter up, you can literally say, hey, I'm going to use my golden bat here and bring in your number 3 or 4 hitter like Shohei or Freddie Freeman or whatever to come up and take that at bat, and that's like a free at bat for them, and that's what the golden bat rule would be. At any point in time, you could switch one person out to bring anybody else up to hit at that point in time. I think that's fucking ridiculous. That is like the stupid, like, dude, you're in the lineup for a fucking reason. You hit where you hit. And if you can't make that fucking hit as the 8th hitter, you fucking you suck.
I think this rule, I would agree. I think this rule is a bit much. You could get, Judge going back to back. Maybe he hits a home run and you bring him right back up to
That's
bat.
just ridiculous, though. I mean,
why not?
It just,
Trevor.
I mean, that is the antithesis of what you don't like about it. He's just painting the exact, the 100% extremity view of it. Like,
but teams will do that.
If they could find, if they would let them, if there was no bylaws
if the
to
faces
it.
are loaded and I need I got somebody else up and I have Shohei on my team and we 2 bets, I'd be like, oh, here,
Every time
we
we
can only
get
use
that
it.
shot.
You can use it once a game.
That's it. That's the time.
It fundamentally changes the game too drastically. You don't get a get out of jail free card in the MLB. When you sub somebody in for another person, you know what happens? That person doesn't get to come back into the game.
That feels dirtier than steroids to me.
I like that, Trev. Dude, it just.
That's a new level of
So now you're
changing the game.
Yeah, because then you would
Well,
be
that's what
like,
I'm saying.
would you be like, bring?
You don't get a get out of jail free card. You're like, oh, dude, my 9 batter's really been struggling. Let's go ahead and get the guy who's been batting 500 this year to come in and ping us.
Or like, so then all of a sudden you already have like your pitcher set. You're like, okay, I got lefty, lefty, lefty.
Exactly. It
And
changes the whole strategy of the game
And I
that
have to
has
leave my
been
pitcher
built
in
upon for 150 years.
And I have to leave my pitcher in for 3 at bats. You shouldn't be able to put your best hitter in place so that I maybe even have to change that pitcher at that point in time. It changes everything.
No.
It's not just a pinch hitter too, where the pinch hitter comes off the bench, who usually isn't that good anyway.
What's just crazy about a pinch hitter, right? I've always wondered why they put non-good people at
Well,
pinch
you're just trying to get the righty-lefty matchup.
Fair enough.
If that's what
Okay.
you're doing. Your percentages are higher going down.
Yeah, sure.
Right,
The opposite hand. Yeah.
But devil's advocate, wouldn't that make for some exciting finishes in baseball? Like every end of the game could be even more.
Chef, it's exciting enough as it is, brother. I don't need some of this fucking cheap ass bullshit.
It's
interrupting my fundamentals. Get off my lawn.
I think that's why they present it
very
though.
gimmicky. Well, they're trying to appeal to the younger audience. They're trying to get their superstars out there.
It's like video game esque.
The thought process of it from a
Sports fan?
well, from a storytelling.
That's pretty good.
Judge comes in bottom of the 9th, he had just batted 2 bats ago or whatever, and he fucking, smokes a dinger and walk off out of the building. Danger, Teddies and dangers. It's just not, it's not what I understand MLB. You've made some strides. The pitch clock, one of my favorite things that's been instituted in any major sport in the last 3 to 5 years, rule-wise. I love that.
I love that you can't throw over to first base all
a
the time.
bunch. That's right. You can only do it 3 times.
In the third
Yep.
time, yeah.
Mhm.
So now and if you use them all, now you're fucked. The guy's gonna steal.
Yeah,
I
you
love
might
the
as well
stolen-
go.
The stolen
Yeah.
bases are up.
So I think we're all in agreement. Those rules better for the game. This rule just
It's so gimmicky.
Why
It's
is cheese
so
gimmicky?
Changes
It's so big game.
the game. It changes the strategy of all of the pitching coaches, of all of the way you're going to run your lineup. It changes the game too much. It by one thing. Like, it would have to be where it's like, I guess you know how they do the onside kick in the NFL now, where you have to declare it and you have to be down, and you have to make it very specific, right? It's or because you can't just have it like, oh, you can do it whenever, like. Otherwise, you get the back-to-back potential.
They want the end of the game to where you can.
I think it's all farts. I think
where you can bring in.
I hope that it goes
Your
literally
Shohei's, your
nowhere.
judges.
I hope that literally goes nowhere. It sounds like just an absolute loss of
Strategy and professionalism. And how fucking shitty do you feel if you're supposed to be that batter that's coming up and your fucking coach comes up to you and says, "Sorry, bro, just let Aaron handle this one." Right?
Hey,
No, you don't handle shit.
I got a new stat. It's the golden bat stat.
Golden
How many gold bats you get a season, bro?
Bury it. I don't
Me.
like it. I don't like it.
We're gonna have the golden bat stats on this.
We're gonna triple double stand Floyd. It ain't gonna happen.
We're gonna go refill these brewskis, check out some football scores, and we're gonna come back with a NFL updated playoff picture and just some hot questions.
Some firebacks. See you soon.
Welcome back. Cheers, boys.
Cheers.
welcome back to Balls&Brews.
This is a classic brew here, Downey. I'm surprised you brought it to us.
Well, it's seasonal, right, Charlie? And it's different every year, so I figured I had to get it. We're drinking a little bit of that Celebration Fresh Hop IPA from Sierra Nevada.
I like this iteration.
6.8. It's very wintry, huh?
Oh, absolutely. It's very earthy.
Right?
I love that.
I love that in my IPAs. Like that, almost like juniper.
Yeah.
Sign me up.
Yeah.
Sometimes it gets a little too sagey.
Yes.
Like, and then it gotta be a little much. But I like that dryness. I think it hits with that. That's the fresh hat. Look at the color on that beer.
Yeah, it's dark, dude.
Pretty. It tastes good.
Yeah, so Sierra Nevada from where though?
Chico, California.
Chico. Yep.
Been there. It's a great brewery.
You said 6'8"?
Yeah.
Ain't it?
Drinking high here.
All
Boys.
right,
Drinking high
man.
here. Great brewery. Absolutely great brewery. Food is fucking outrageous there. Best beer cheese I've ever had.
Nice.
It's like where you're like, dude, I want to put it on everything.
Everything.
It was like outrageous.
Everything.
It was outrageous.
Nice.
Did the tour and everything there. That was pretty fucking cool. Played with some hops. Sticky, icky.
Beer cheese has become like a staple of a lot of breweries, though, too.
You have to. It's almost, dude. Good beer cheese and pretzel has to be on your fucking menu.
Give me that.
Yeah,
soft.
it has to be soft pretzel.
Maybe some tots or some sort of potatoes with that beer cheese, too.
Anything you can dip beer cheese in. But then you don't. I feel that some breweries try to get too fancy with their
I know.
food.
Agreed.
Instead of just having like some great sandwiches, some great burgers.
I want palm food.
That's all you need.
Having a couple good salads, stuff like that.
Sure.
But also like you can have good burgers. It doesn't have to be a greasy burger. You know what I'm saying?
Which
You can have good food that's not
I
greasy.
love that. I wanted to give a shout out. During our beer and food section, I think you brought it back to. I had a Beefy's burger. Shout out to Beefy's just down the street on Virginia, dude.
It's one of the best burgers.
They know how to make a medium rare burger. And they gave me more tots. I ordered just regular tots, dude. It fit in I took a picture of it. It was a tub of tots. It was just overflowing. And the whole bag was just tots. I was just like, this is awesome. Yeah. So what I did is I came home and I put garlic and Parmesan on it and tossed them. And so I had my own garlic Parmesan tots. They were so fucking good.
I got a sidebar for this tot situation.
All right, sidebar, my dude.
What is
What is?
your side of choice, with fries, tots, onion rings, garlic fries, sweet potato fries? No. Which one of those are you picking? When you get your burger or your chicken fingers or something, are you fries?
Well, it really all depends. I like either or.
Onion rings? What you going?
I'm never onion ring. I'm a never onion ring guy.
I like onion rings, but I rarely go that way.
It's funny.
I like all those things, though, so it really depends on what else I'm eating it with, because I like those things. I don't know if there's one that I'm like it's a go-to for me necessarily.
I'm usually gonna go to tots.
Tots. I mean, I love some good tots.
Because a good crispy tot is like epic.
Yeah, agreed.
Well, it's just because you still get, like, if they're made right, the potatoes fluffy
Right.
versus like a fry is just like, straight potato. There's no
Agreed.
fluffiness left to the potato.
And I want
it's
my
a texture
fries,
difference.
It is.
And I'd rather have the skinny, crispier fries than the big
Oh, the
fries.
steak fry, you want a shoestring over steak?
Yeah, yeah.
I get you. I lean that way as well.
I like
kinda
my
like
fries
the-
stiff.
I like the betweeners. I like the betweeners. I like the ones that are like they're that they're kind of like shoestring, but they're a little thicker.
Yeah.
Those are the ones I prescribe to.
But I like my fries like this, not like this.
Well, yeah, you don't want them soggy or some shit. No, or like, I mean, steak fries can
Steak
be
fries
good.
can get that way.
Potato skins you're talking about?
Oh,
okay.
on fries.
Sure,
Potato
fine,
skins
whatever.
are good.
I don't care.
Potato
Yeah,
skins
no,
are
it doesn't matter to me.
Okay.
Like, it's deep fried. It's a
Yeah,
deep
food.
fried potato. I love potatoes.
So,
in all iterations.
jumping back into the football world, we're going to jump into what the playoff picture looks like.
Let's do it, please.
Get us back on track.
AFC first.
Wait, did
number
we
one.
talk about this beer even?
The celebration? Yeah, we sure
I
did.
mean,
Yeah.
I know we talked about the profile and everything. We
Chico, 6.8. He went to the brewery.
Man,
Trev's
Like
catching
that.
up. Trev had himself a good,
I thought we
second
might have
segment.
more beer talk, but my bad.
Okay, so number one seed in the AFC is KC.
Duh.
Just kicking ass, winning games, bouncing balls off of fucking uprights.
Whatever they're
blocking
doing,
kids.
literally, it's almost comical how they're winning these games at this
It's
point.
crazy.
It's just
It's crazy.
You've never seen it done this many times.
One team can normally get one or two crazy wins, but it's like every week is something different.
Every week.
It's a blocked punt, it's a doinked kick, it's a missed
Just
call, it's
It's
a
a weird,
overthrow.
stupid
It's
Raiders fumble.
it's literally every other which way you could win a game, they're doing it.
Referees missing penalties.
Other
Don't
than,
forget
for
that.
sure. No, that's what I said, missed calls. Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. That was like the
Yeah.
third one I said.
Okay, my bad.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Number two, Buffalo Bills. My guy J.A. should be front runner MVP talk.
He is. Oh, he's clearing the bank right now when it comes to the Vegas odds. He's the minus guy. I think he's like minus 150.
Number three, which none of us had, Pittsburgh Steelers playing good
No,
football.
because I was higher on the Bengals. I took them to the Super Bowl, so I had them
Yeah.
winning the AFC North.
I had them in the AFC North too.
So that was a bad take on Roscoe's.
Number four seed is the Houston Texans, who are an 8-5, but they're
We
a
were just
soft
talking
8-5
about this, right? Yeah. It's just been a very streaky and up and downy kind of 8-5.
Yeah, they don't seem like they don't seem as effective on offense as they did last
No.
year. Their run game's better, but the pass game, maybe it's because the offensive line's not giving shot enough. We see
It's
more
for sure a
drops.
degression in the offensive line.
I think you see more
Regression,
drops,
yeah.
Maybe Stroud as well.
more drops, and I think CJ hasn't been on point as much either. So
He's been missing some dots that he hit his last year. Maybe it's the lack of trust, right? He feels like there's this clock in his head, and he's just got to dish it regardless.
and so those four are the division winners. So you had KC, you know, division leaders at this point. KC with the West, Buffalo with the East,
They've wrapped it up,
Pitt-
though. They have wrapped it up.
Pitt with the North, and
Buffalo.
Houston with the South.
Because that
And
AFC
the
East
West is, I think, wrapped too.
Yeah, it has to be.
Do you think Pittsburgh stays here, or is that the only one that you think could move? Would be Pittsburgh at 3? Does Baltimore catch up to them, or?
No, I don't think so. We just talked about Houston and like Baltimore just being 2 games back already at this point. That's
That's a lot to make up. We got
It is. There's only 4
Yeah.
left, yeah. And where do they fall on division games? Do they still play each other? Do they have tiebreaker? Because that's.
I'll double check.
But even 2 games down, even if they have 1 left, 1 is good. But I think they do end their season against each other.
Because nobody's catching Houston in the South, right? That division's
That
basically
is
kinda
so boo boo, dude. I mean, who's the other one that could even make
Only the
noise?
Colts.
Yeah, right. And
it's actually next week.
okay, so they do play
Oh.
exactly. So,
In
they play,
Baltimore.
so there's 1 game. So Baltimore's got to make up another one somewhere in the other 3.
Well,
Which-
I mean, the other 2 at Texans and
Okay.
hosting the Browns. That's it.
So
Oh, so
Baltimore.
it's feasible. They have a pretty decent, remaining
It's not out of the
schedule.
picture.
No, agreed.
But other than that, that's basically wrapped. The
No,
AFC
yeah.
is basically wrapped.
Yeah, even the in the hunt is only Miami and Indianapolis. There's only 2
there's
teams
2
that are
games
even
back,
that
yeah.
are even mathematically possible right now. The AFC is pretty much locked.
Whew.
Yeah. we're good on that.
So, I mean, okay, all right. So let's go real quick. Who do you think, if we're saying all 7 teams are pretty much there, because you're talking, let's go the wild cards right now. Or I'm sorry, let's hit them wild cards before we finish the AFC talk. Because we only talked about division leaders.
Oh yeah, Baltimore is the 5 seed.
Right. That makes sense. Chargers and Broncos.
And Broncos are the 7, dude.
And then there's that 2-game difference.
Yeah.
So those teams look like they're all probably going to be there.
It seems like it's all 7 no matter what, depending on whether or not the Chargers and Broncos flip or the Ravens and Steelers flip.
Positioning still.
Other than that, it seems like it's pretty well.
None of us expect Indy or Miami to
move past the other 2. Yeah, well now, so Indy and Denver play, which, hey, pod bet, hey, let's have a note here real quick, even though we haven't run any fucking recordings, we're on a 3-week heater right now.
And I think, am I right with my mathematics too?
I haven't calculated
but
it.
we in the money. We definitively in the money this year. Like,
we're almost 50% this year. If we win this week, we'd be 50% on the year.
And hey, that's still pretty good.
That's amazing. Are you kidding me? With sports betting,
I mean,
the first year, last year we ran 3 wins the whole fucking last year. So if we could get like 8 this year, that's nasty, son. That's good one.
Charlie, you want to read out where we're sitting in the?
Welcome to the NFC, the National Football Conference, where the Detroit Lions are running roughshod over the house. You're welcome. I do what I can over here, right? I just let the people know. That Detroit is 12-1 right now and looking rather dominant, getting it done in the fashion of different ways. Even when Goff throws 5 picks, they overcome that and win again. Insane. You obviously don't want to do that in the playoffs, but that team is as confident as you can get. It's as confident as you can get. You're rolling. You got the coach. You got Goff, when he is upright, is a good quarterback. Not great, good enough. That defense.
I thought he could be, man. This year, he took another
Sonic and Knuckles, as it were. But, Montgomery and Gibbs are what make that offense go. When they're on, because then Goff has, all of the pressure taken off of him, his play action is lethal. And that's where he just throws his best ball.
Dude, he had like a 90% completion percentage in the month of October.
Yeah, he had a perfect game against the Seahawks. He went like 17 for 17 or 18 for 18. Perfect. And he caught a touchdown. He threw for 2 and caught a touchdown. Jay Allen did, dude. Damn. He was giving his best, Jay Allen against Goff over here. I was trying to give your boy a small bit of love because I know that, that's your MVP.
He's not on the train.
Okay, so I'm not off the train.
He's not going to be allowed on the train.
Gatekeeper. Next up is Philly, who has locked down the East.
Dude, playing good football right now, too, boys. Yep. It's more because the offensive coordinators are more running those sides of the ball really well. Which, how much does that say about fucking the Dolphins' shitty-ass fucking defense crying because they don't want to play for Fangio? Fangio's got this defense, like, fucking on point right now. That defensive line between all those Georgia guys, those guys are having another good season between Davis and Carter. They're like tearing the middle up.
Nolan Smith has taken a step forward. There is some pieces there that will be there. They're only 2 or 3 year guys in.
Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean are fucking.
They have theoretically nailed the last couple of 2 or 3 drafts.
I thought they've had some of the best drafts.
If they stay healthy and they grow this unit, it could be scurry.
They just need
years.
What they need is they need that linebacker. Their linebacker core is
and it's getting older too. So that is, and their offensive line has got to turn over at some point too. Like Kelsey obviously retired, but like Dwayne Johnson's gonna go. Like they have some other things but the revelation there, and I think real quick, I think that they've leaned into the running game, which is fucking smart. Saquon Barkley is leading the NFL in rushing, not even attempts, but rushing yards.
You're telling me that the least valued position is making the most of the impact for a team
on multiple teams. And the least valued position is the best position in the draft.
There's some
when you start researching it, it's the best position.
Which is funny because I feel like that's the one position we
that and the defensive line right
now. My D line's balling too. I can't wait to talk about Seattle.
All right, who's number 3?
Speaking of, right now it's Seattle. Okay, so I'm not going to get too hyped because there's a bunch of football left, and the Rams are right there. They just beat the Niners on Thursday Night Football. It's 8-6 to 8-5 right now. We have a massive Sunday Night Football matchup tonight against the Packers. Jordan Love is a very good quarterback. They have some very good wide receivers. Josh Jacobs is playing out of his fucking mind. He's number 3. Yeah, exactly. He's number 3 right now in rushing yards. Like, we're not overlooking Green Bay.
Best division in fucking football.
Oh, not even close. Yeah, no, they deserve to get 3 teams in for sure. They are
Easily the best.
massively competitive. The fact that Minnesota might potentially only have 2 losses on the season and have to be a 5th seed is pretty crazy.
Dude, Sammy Darnold fucking slinging and dinging it.
No, wait. Do the Lions and the Vikings meet again? Because they are divisional opponents. Have they played twice? They haven't played twice, right? Because
Detroit's one loss was to Tampa Bay.
Yeah, and Packers have played Green Bay twice.
Game of the season.
Oh my God, that's great. I love that so much.
Vikings
Like
win
the
the
NFL,
Vikings
like
win
the
the
NFL
fucking
Didn't know
North.
what they were doing.
The Vikings win the North.
After
You gotta love division games, man.
well, that means they both need to win out to get to that point.
Who's number 4? Who's the last division winner?
TB right now. Tampa Bay is currently in front of Atlanta for the
Dude,
NFC
Atlanta
South.
is Atlanta? Never mind. That's one of my questions. We'll get to it in the question segment. Go for
Excellent. So that's the divisions. Then 5, 6, and 7. We just named 5 and 6 was Minnesota and Green Bay because the NFC North
Dude,
is
hot.
yeah. They in a reseed they would have 3 of the top 4 seeds actually if you're just going pure record. But since divisions play differently,
Dude, the 3 really
Seattle would still be in the playoff picture, but we would not be number 3.
3 really good teams in that division.
And then number 7 is Washington.
Playing good football.
And like I just named number 8, which is technically a half game behind because they've played their game. 8 and 6 is the Rams, and they are
on fire.
They are scary right now. They are doing enough to win the games in which the way they have to win them.
Yeah, the Rams are definitely in it. Even though they're 8, Atlanta is probably that other team just because Tampa Bay is only 1
Sure.
game.
1000%.
And only for the division, not even for
And they-
wild card.
right.
Another team for
Just
wild card.
one team coming out of that.
Well, and Atlanta's just got to tie Tampa Bay. They have a 2-game they swept them. They have the tiebreaker. They just got to end with the same record as the Bucks.
Yep.
So the ball is really in Atlanta's court. But if Tampa Bay does win out, then they got to sweep. They got
better win on fucking Monday night. I swear to God.
You don't want a 5-pick Kirk Cousins game where Max Crosby gets to ghost hit cigars after the game.
They're playing the Raiders if you don't know.
Losses. Losses, Chuck.
Well, you only have 2 wins, so at this point, there's no point in getting more.
No, just get them in.
Crosby's season-ending surgery too.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah.
I didn't hear that.
Yeah.
On knee, elbow, vagina, what happened?
I think it was his ankle.
I'm just kidding, Max. Please, if you ever see
Yeah.
this, don't come to Reno and hunt me down.
That was Chuck that said that.
That was Chuck E. Cheese.
Yeah,
That was my alter ego.
I
He
just
doesn't exist.
just lose. Get the number 1 pick so you don't have to trade up. Just
That's
solidify
right.
the quarterback position. Fire the coach. Start it over. Tom Brady, start it over, brother. Tom Brady, call me.
Question.
775-240-6192. I'm here for your TV. Charlie.
So are you going to get a new coach though? Because you're paying McDaniels. I think you're still playing Chucky as well.
I don't know.
I think you're paying Gruden. You're going to pay 4 coaches at once?
Pay them all.
Because I don't think your owner's that owner.
I think he is. I think with Tom Brady
I don't
coming in
think he
behind,
has that money to be that owner.
Yeah, they do. Do you know how much money that stadium has made that team in the last handful of years?
I mean, it's
the most
expensive.
expensive. It's the most expensive ticket, most expensive merch, most expensive food. Like they are gobbling it up down there in Vegas.
So I got some questions for you guys on this hot segment. Throwing out some questions.
Okay.
If you guys got some, throw them out as well. Is AJ Brown the next Terrell Owens? Is he going to run his mouth so much that he walks himself out of places?
It's really good because he's also super talented.
Yes.
I mean, he doesn't entertain me as much as T.O. did. T.O. played for my team, which was just, man, what an experience.
He had the what they call like the catch 2.0. Like Terrell Owens.
He's going viral, baby.
They're still trying to make a comeback in Fitty. They still want him to coach. AJ Brown.
Second in the team with touchdowns.
AJ Brown is a fucking absolute unit. He's a great football player, but you have to understand, as a wide receiver, your job is also dependent upon the success of the offensive line and the quarterback. And there's a lot that has to go into getting the ball as a wide receiver. I understand that. And you can bitch about always being open and whatnot, but there's a lot of things that change the game of football drastically and very quickly, right?
How am I going to be out here running 100% all game
and not going to touch
the
not
ball?
going to touch
Well,
you.
I think back
That's
to
what
the.
you do because that's your job.
I think back
Because that's your job.
But when you're one of the best weapons on the team, shouldn't that be more of your job?
Well, yeah, you got to get the ball thrown to you.
I think
I
get the point.
I see him sitting on the sidelines and they're winning that playoff game, and he had 2 catches and he was pouting, and you're winning a playoff game. So that's what I like. He's a great receiver.
You can't bitch after a win. You cannot. Wins are so hard to come by in the NFL. However you get it done, you should be excited.
Like, yeah, Devontae Adams, I mean, the way that he talked when he was on the Netflix show, at least, it was about the team first. Even though he was about himself, he was about the team too.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he didn't want McDaniels, obviously, and he wasn't a huge fan of or not Derek Carr, but Jimmy Garoppolo.
Yeah.
Oh my lord. Never been hit so much in my fucking life. Okay,
Anyways.
But
yeah.
yeah.
Back to you. Hey.
So I just see like he's great receiver, but he's out talking, and he's always doing the talking. He's always got so much bad body.
He can back it up. The dude's a fucking animal. I get a gripe from both sides, but honestly, in a win, AJ, that's locker room talk, bro. Yeah, or bring it to your quarterback or your head coach or something in a team meeting where the media is not. You don't do that in the locker room after a win. That's a shit. Because what does that tell your teammates?
I argued your point for you is how you feel you should be involved, but you just don't say that when you're winning because as long as you're getting the job
Not
done,
a shot.
it doesn't matter how you get
1,000%.
there.
Wins are so hard to come by in the NFL.
You want to be involved, I get it. You deserve to be involved for sure, but
a dub is a dub, and you should be
Sometimes
happy for your
you just
teammates
gotta
who put up those
Play
numbers.
the game that the defense is giving you.
There it is. Thank you. Yeah.
Which team is the most disappointing team in football between the
man.
Bengals or the Falcons?
Cincy.
That's
a good take, though.
I mean, the Jets are pretty disappointing.
There's that too. Yeah.
Or the Jets?
I would probably put the Jets in front of the Falcons.
pretty disappointing.
I wouldn't put the Jets. I didn't expect the Jets to go this very far, so I didn't.
I didn't expect them to be 3 and 10.
Come on, that was a big paper tiger though.
When you look at that roster, you had to think more.
I had them second. I had them second in the AFC East, but
The Falcons, though. I mean, look
Falcons,
at
we all picked, or
they,
other than the guy that might be right after we
no,
thought we
I
would be wrong.
changed it. I flipped it.
Oh, you
I
did.
put it on wax that I was going with the Falcons the
That's
final
right.
of the year.
Yeah,
I remember that.
You should have stuck with the Bucks.
I know. I should have. I know.
just look what they have on that team. Is Kirk Cousins? I guess second part is Kirk Cousins toast.
He's having it.
He seems rattled.
It's a
I'll
bad
say
season
that
for
much.
him.
He seems, this last stretch has been just bad football, Kirko. Like you can't defend 4 picks in a game, followed up by another 2 picks without tuds. It's real bad when you're throwing high picks. When you're getting no touchdowns too. When you've gone 3 games and thrown 6 picks and no touchdowns, get out of town, bro.
Yeah.
You gotta go.
Because Aaron's done.
What are we still
Right? Aaron's done. Right?
in a truly overall competitive?
Put the team on his back kind of way, yes. Aaron Rodgers is still a great NFL quarterback, but clearly he needs a lot going on.
Do you think the Falcons are looking at these other 4 quarterbacks that are playing right now, and all 4 are playing actually pretty good? Caleb Williams has got the most games.
Well, yeah,
over
but
100.
then you're saying we're already here where we're at in the season. Well, you can't throw Penix out there now, right? And make him the savior with 3 fucking weeks. Do you think that's a good move?
I don't know. Because I think even with mediocre Cousins play, look, there are games coming up. The
Burrow is
Raiders,
throwing
the
tuds.
Giants,
Throwing
the
tuds.
Panthers.
Burrow, so that's a good fit.
Okay.
Yeah, throwing tuds.
The only team that
Check us out, Instagram.
Atlanta plays coming up that's any good is the Commanders.
Dude, so I don't know,
That's
man. He
3
looks,
wins they should have with mediocre quarterback play.
those picks are like really bad picks. Like they weren't like tip balls. They're like thrown to the wrong dude.
I will
That's why I
also.
think you consider Penix. Maybe he could be a spark right now, and you're going to make that change eventually. I think you take the chance and just roll him out there.
I don't think. Sure, and
And the
he's got-
schedule is there are no daunting defenses that you're worried about getting them killed.
You're changing the whole schematic. Like Penix is not gonna do what Kirk does in the pocket.
I'm
Like,
hoping he doesn't, because throwing 5 picks is not what I want to see.
it's sort of a good point. What I'm saying though is like
Look
that
at
you're
5
going
picks.
from a righty to a lefty, which is definitely different when you're talking
Yes.
about.
Are the Falcons? Is Kirk
Do they have-
Cousins on the market next year?
No.
I
No,
don't know.
they've
The way that the season's going, this is going to
$280
play a
million
part.
guaranteed.
Nah, it's not guaranteed depending on how this season goes. Because if it doesn't go, if they keep it out here and they just miss the playoffs,
No
no
matter
way.
how the season ends, I think he gets a second
Okay.
year. I'm not saying he's the starter. They might put in Penix and he might be the backup next year, but I will say he will be a Falcon next year.
I'm saying they get rid of him if they miss the playoffs.
Okay. Spicy.
I got another quarterback question.
Lay it on us.
Pub bet or something.
Okay.
Figure
Bottle of
it
beer.
We'll figure it out.
Is Kyler Murray is the quarterback we always think he
Ooh.
was? He's not the dude he is at the beginning of the season, right?
I think
Dude, those
he's
picks against fucking Seattle were fucking horrendous. The
And
one he
honestly,
fucking lost.
amazing.
The one he lofted. If he throws that ball any farther, that guy's gone. Dude, he's been like this, and it's always been Kip Kingsbury couldn't do anything different in the second half of the season. Well, maybe it's Kyler. Kyler sure lately has not looked good, and he's looked real bad as of late.
I think he is who we think he is. From the reports that have
Let
come
him off the
out
hook.
about him, you can see by watching him play that he has the talent to be one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. It doesn't look like he has the work ethic to do it. Like, it just seems that's what I lead or go to because you see it. You see it at times.
And you guys play him a bunch, so you guys watch him real sure. And you saw
His highs are insane. His highs are chart in the 90 percentile, but his lows are around like the 40s.
Yeah,
like his floor is not high enough.
There's
He
too
needs a
much
better
room there.
floor. Yeah. When he booms, his boom is firecracker. He's got feet. He does have a pretty good arm too. He's a baseball
Yes.
player, so he can release it. But
he's a more talented.
when
Jameis
you
Winston.
keep him in the pocket or when you rattle him or like if you can create spacing like where he doesn't have the best over the middle ball at
That's
all.
because of his height.
Sure. So, that's where you can live and die in the middle of the field sometimes, depending on the team that you're playing.
Good a lot.
But yes, he is who we thought he was.
Yes.
Yeah,
He's not who
I
he was at
guess.
the beginning of the season.
Yeah,
he was
he's
not.
a putt whacker. It's a Cardinals.
Division 8.
Yeah, for real though.
Who right now is your guys' offensive rookie of the year?
Well, the betting odds
I
are
don't
between
ask the
Mixon
betting odds,
and
you fucking
Daniels.
son of a bitch.
Whoa,
Calm yourself.
Who was your
Um,
picks? Charlie Roscoe.
Charlie Roscoe, offensive player of the year.
So
I think it's gonna end next. I think he's flipped enough of the attention. If he can, torch this Indy defense today, because Washington's playing. Oh, they're already in action. They're playing New Orleans, right? And
Yes,
Jaden Daniels
yes.
been playing pretty well. I don't know, man. It is going to be one of those two.
Does my boy have any shot?
Bowers.
He's gonna finish on the ballot, but does he have any shot?
Well, because your team's so bad, unfortunately, that will bury the shine that he
Yeah,
has.
he's fucking. Watch out,
He's a
boys.
stud. He's a stud.
It's
No.
between
He's
the
coming for the top 10 in the league.
Plus,
looks
they love
good.
quarterbacks.
He
They
looks
love
fucking good.
quarterbacks
Yeah,
in the
and it's
NFL,
going to be
dude.
between the
I
two.
know.
Jaden Daniels, Bo Nix.
And I think Caleb has made a better case for himself as of late, except for last game. But he had a nice little run there. He's played pretty good football. Drake May's played pretty good, but I do believe it's Daniels
Good.
and
Looks like a good rookie class.
Sure, no, and I think that hopefully Chicago reevaluates their whole situation and brings somebody in that's proper. And I don't have faith in that. This organization has shown for 100+
and it
years.
looks like
Not Bill Belichick. We never talked about that.
Oh, we missed that.
There's a question.
We'll
Oh my
bring
God!
North
Carolina.
Carolina.
Come on and breeze up.
We'll
Take
bring
your
that
shirt
up.
off.
We'll hit that in a minute.
All right,
To the
all right.
Pablo.
Because you also have
My bad.
Bo
I'm
Nix,
not
I
gonna
think
apologize.
between Bo Nix and Daniels, I think whoever finishes in the playoffs, that quarterback gets rookie of the year.
Yes, and that's why I think right now, I haven't looked at the odds, but I would think Bo Nix's are pretty good because I think it's more they're guaranteed that spot in the playoffs where Washington could get knocked out by the Rams.
They sure
And
could.
Jaden
And the Seahawks. Both of those teams have to win.
Right.
And it looks like Bo's kind of done like this little bit of escalate the whole year where Jaden kind of was hot and then kind of evened out and then has kind of had a couple games
No, and I think that's the exact point that I hate to make because I don't like praising anybody who wears the Denver Bronco jersey. But Bo Nix has been rather he had his rookie struggles, started to figure it out, and he's continued to figure it out throughout the season. Like he hasn't had that 3-pick game or whatever.
He's been very consistently growing.
I'm gonna give a little hand clap to Sean Payton for having
86
this
mil,
big,
eating it.
eating that money.
From Russell Wilson and
It's a sick
getting
move,
the
dude.
team into the playoffs
It's
with a rookie quarterback.
It's a nasty move. It is.
It's a sick move, dude.
You up for the coach of the year? I don't know. I don't think he gets it, but damn, that's a good job. Good job.
Next question. What do you guys make of said hit to Trevor Lawrence and what also second?
Yeah,
Let's
we
talk
didn't
about
talk
the
about
hit.
that
Let's talk about the
either.
hit first, and then I will talk about the quarterback slide and all that second. So, what do you guys make of the hit?
It looked dirty.
It was a forearm to his fucking skull.
That's why
It was a forearm to his
He
fucking
didn't-
skull.
He's giving himself up, and you don't try to avoid him.
And you had your
And
arm out.
you
Why was
give him
your
a
arm out?
forearm.
Are you trying
Dude.
I've heard defenses on both that the slide was late or whatever. But the fact of the matter is, he led with his forearm, knowing that's a quarterback.
knowing that you're in the open field? Do you really think he's not going to slide?
You're either an idiot or you're dirty.
You can jump over him, dude.
And the hit on
you
Pollard
can,
out of bounds
you
earlier
can
this year was
jump
super
over him, and
That too. And that's why I think
But
he got
then-
the 3 games is because his actions this year. He's
Well,
had a couple.
He escalated
Scrums,
the situation that same day. He escalated.
He pulled that other offensive lineman to the ground. It was a whole kerfuffle. Like it was ridiculous, dude. It was a sham. It was sad for everybody else on that defense who had to play with him and be like, "Yeah, it's my teammate." You know what I mean? Because I'm sure that and like he comes out with this after stuff about only God can judge me and blah blah blah, and that's fine and all, but like that was a play you could have avoided. I don't care. Go to tackle in school. Go to tackle in school. Has anybody ever told you to lead with your forearm? Has anybody ever done
Yes,
that? Has
exactly.
anybody ever told you
It
to
was
tackle like that?
one of those-
Ever.
Yeah, exactly.
Never. That is the worst training I've ever seen in a tackle.
Chuck, at the school of hard knocks, that's where they teach you to hit.
God, dude, it's not okay. Shaziz Al-Shire.
Okay, next part of the question.
Not okay.
Next part of the question.
Is hopefully happier.
How do you avoid these quarterbacks doing the Patrick Mahomes where he kind of fakes like he's going out, then he takes 5 more yards because you don't want to hit him out of bounds? The late slide to the defense, is that all judgmentary? As soon as the quarterback
What was
goes,
the last word? Judgmentary?
yeah, it's elementary, Chuck.
No, you guys don't need to correct me earlier.
So do you?
No, see,
So
guys,
do you-
look,
So is it like as a quarterback goes to make that move out of bounds, he's out right there when he makes that move to alleviate?
But how do you blow the whistle there?
I think you. I mean, we can't have
Because
the
if he's
defenders
technically
get-
not out of bounds, that's the toughest thing. That one of the toughest things about being a defender is in real time. It all looks like okay.
Well, you're trying not to hit him.
I
because they're
know,
going
but
out of bounds,
you're
then
trying
they
to hit
take
him
5
and not to hit him, and it's
but then
real
they
tough
take
on the
5 more
boundary.
yards up the fucking sideline.
I think the boundary is different than a slide, though. Like I think those are two very different.
I
Do
think
you guys
that's
think
one
that
of those
Trevor
plays.
Lawrence was late or on his side?
No.
I mean, a lot of those plays happen pretty quickly.
It's a
but I
bang
don't
bang
think
play,
it
as
was
they
like
call it. Yeah.
it was excessively late. I wouldn't call it that.
He was in the slide when he got hit.
Yes.
So take it from there. I mean, it wasn't like he wasn't just halfway down. His leg was
Yeah,
he
yeah,
was
yeah. No, I-
sliding.
he got forearm shivered. Like,
But some people are saying, "Oh, he slid late. He's trying to get that extra yard." I'm not. Can we
We just still don't come in with that forearm. What are you doing?
We're all on the
That's
same
what I'm
page.
saying.
We are all on the same page.
So
So yeah, it sucks for. I feel bad, obviously, for Trevor Lawrence. He kind of wasn't having the best season already, but then that certainly doesn't fucking help.
New coach in Jacksonville.
I feel it has to be, has to. There's no doubt about that one. That one's the fact that he isn't out is pretty crazy. If you ask
they
me.
need somebody to rebuild this team. Nobody's really built this team. You have some pieces, but You haven't like
bringing
built.
Balky in was bad.
They have
Like
Hines Allen. They have Josh Hines Allen and Trevon Walker's played pretty well. Outside of that, their defense is who. And
And
then
you've been drafting high, and you've had draft picks. It's not like you went like traded for somebody and had lost like first rounds. You're just not getting. You're not either.
your boy Brian Thomas Jr. looks like he could be the
He
truth.
looks like he's.
Evan Ingram took a step back this
Surgery.
year.
Yep.
Christian Kirk took a step back this
What
year.
is it?
Travis Etienne took a step back this year.
That's all offensive line.
Bigsby
Played pretty
Alright.
well. Yeah, he looks like he could be a
You
dude.
traded your starting left
Cam
tackle.
Robinson, yeah.
So I mean, yes, you know, you
Yeah,
got to
it's
start
really
that
got
offensive line.
offensive issues too. Like
Yeah, no,
I put a lot of that on
I just had a feeling. I had a feeling about this team, dude. I put them fourth in the AFC South for a fucking reason, bro. You all right, dude?
Yeah, stretching out the back, brother. Stretching out the
I
back.
didn't know if you had to like fart or something.
No,
Just
my
let it
back-
rip.
Bro, just
Back's
What
really
deal
tight.
with it?
Back's really tight.
Ah,
But yeah, I just, I don't know. I think that some of the quarterbacks do get away with stuff, but it's not every quarterback that it happens to. Not everybody's trying to do the like hanky janky or the.
And if you're gonna do that, then you gotta. I think the referees gotta go lighter on the call.
Right.
If they're near the sideline, then yeah, you carry them out.
Don't you think that-
tackle them? Just carry them out of bounds.
Don't you think that could be something that they could? I think that they could do more with the call-in thing. Call into the rest. You do like where they can now call in and make these replays like real
Like
quick.
in New York.
From New York. I think there should be a ref watching every single game in front of the massive TVs or two in New York, and you could call in and be like,
as long as they're high definition. Remember when the Seahawks and the Niners played that first game and fucking bounced off homeboys' fingers, and they're like, they didn't have the high definition footage to see that happened. Even though we at home were like that.
if we get home, can see it.
Yeah.
but
Sorry,
do you
I'm
think-
just saying.
I mean,
it's
don't
the
you
same
think?
argument.
Do you think that should be more
I
a
think
thing where you can call in on that kind of
I
stuff
think
to
that the
fix the
NFL
game?
is super hard to judge in real time, dude.
Yeah.
It's
That's
so
what I'm saying.
fast
Can't we
and
have
so
these
much
other call-ins like
happens.
beep? Hold on, wait 1 second. Hold this
I
play.
mean, if it's like completely evident, why don't they get it right? If
And the way that it's developed, it happens a lot quicker
oh
than
my
it
god,
used
I'm
to.
excited for this.
Let's cheers to this real quick though. You're right.
It's just
'cause
another chin leg brewing, baby.
I like this brown we've had it on the pod before.
We sure
I got it
have.
again.
Deer beer, brown ale, baby.
This is
That's fucking
like
delicious.
a brown. I would suggest to someone who wanted to get into dark beer because I think it's pretty smooth.
I love it. It's smooth, not sweet, subtle baker's chocolate.
I get the
hopped
chocolate.
up brown.
Yeah, you get a little of it.
No, this is a winner.
This is a dub.
I'm very thankful anytime I get me a
Demonstrates.
good brown.
It's one of my favorite versions of a craft beer.
Would you rather have a good brown or a good red?
brown?
Traditionally, no. I guess it really depends on like.
Because reds are hard to find sometimes.
They are a little bit harder
I feel.
to find a good red. I agree with you, but
I
I
think
think when they're
it
good,
depends. It depends. I feel like it depends on the season.
I do enjoy nice toasted brown.
Oh, exactly, dude. Yeah, I traditionally lean more brown, but I would say out of like that is my pocket right there. That copper hue of beer, I love. Whether it's like the fresh hop IPA that we had, which was kind of copper to like an amber to a red to a brown. I love that little like that part of the spectrum for sure.
I like to stay away from the IPAs that we had. It's a good one, but it's
You don't
not
like this?
something-
You don't like this? I like this a lot.
Yeah, I
thought
like
it was
it, but
really
it's not
nice.
something I'm ever ordering.
Fair enough.
I don't know, man. It's weird. I every now and again I do want me some Hoppasees.
If like when I go, I'm always looking stouts, browns, reds, and then after that, if they don't have that, then I'll go hazy. And then if they don't have a hazy, I'm like, well, fuck, give me a Guinness or something that's
You don't do
Do you have a
wheat
natural
beers?
stout?
Huh?
You don't do wheat beers?
I might do a hefty, but I'm more
That's what I'm
looking. I'm more looking that darker shit.
Same.
I don't know, man. Sometimes the IPAs do be calling me though, man. They do.
They never be called. They never be called.
Who this?
Who that?
Who there? You found who this?
Okay, I got questions for to you guys for your teams.
Oh wait, did we
team
want to do that before or after Belichick?
We'll talk Belichick after this.
Okay.
We'll finish with Belichick.
We're finished with Belichick.
Well, because my fandom is also about the NCAA,
Mine's about my team.
the NFL team. So we're going your fandom now.
No. I mean, if we want to talk Niners, we can talk Niners.
He's gonna ask you a Niners question.
Well, maybe that will bring us to top.
Okay.
Here we go. Here we go now.
We'll start with Charlie
Let's go.
because your team's the only team that's really in the playoffs.
You matter this year.
We all know we're trying to get that division down. Come on, man. Give me a
What
question.
is the outlook of the offense right now of this team?
Well, I mean, thank goodness.
Walkie's hurt again today.
He is. But Sharp had an absolute career day. He had the best rushing day we've had in all season. So he went for $134, and he also put 50 and a tud in the air. So he did 2 tuds on the ground, 1 tud in the air. He was a fucking monster last week. And it has a lot to do with playing the Cardinals and the scheme and his ability. My nickname for him is Bowling Ball because he's a fucking. That's exactly what he is. He run through a motherfucker face. He run through a motherfucker face.
And this kind of led me to a sidebar because you kind of got a new running back that's been rolling as well.
Sincere
or whatever his name is. Isn't that it? Sincere? Isn't that his first name? What's his last name? What's his last name? There it is. Why are we talking
I'm sorry. We're talking about running backs, and he just had like an emergence from a guy from free agency. He
was on our practice squad.
Really cool.
Yeah, I played the maximum games before they gave him that contract, signed him up, bring him in.
I think Grub for to answer the question of what is the offensive identity, he's now trusting the running game more. I think we've really solidified our offensive line a little bit better. We put in a rookie. I'm going to butcher his name out of Utah. I'm so sorry. 7th rounder. Lamea is his last name.
7th rounder.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
Let's
6th or 7th rounder. And he jumped in front of Bradford. He wasn't supposed to start.
At what spot?
Guard. Right guard. It was the big weakness in our lineup. Abe Lucas has come on as the right tackle. Charles Cross is playing great as the left tackle. Our line is better.
They're young.
They're very young. Yes, exactly.
Well, I gotta stay healthy.
Right, correct.
That's been an issue.
No, on our center, Oluwatimi, because we had our center retire. Connor Williams retired. We brought him in this year. He was starting to gel pretty. He had some bad snaps, some really bad snaps. He actually, in some red zone ones, flew over Gino's head. Oh, it was the Bills. Yeah, we could have been more competitive against the Bills had we not had some stepping on Gino's ankle at the 2-yard line.
Self-inflicted.
Really bad. It was. At home, we had 4 false starts that game at home. Sure, fine, whatever. But Grubbs is trusting the line more, which is leading to us running on first down more, which is leading to Gino being able to run play action and throw on 3rd down more consistently. And I think we're finally understanding that we need to be a run first team. It is how we build the rest of. I know it's generic, I get it, but
I could have told you that at
I
the
know.
beginning of the season.
Grubb didn't because Gino led in attempts and yards for the first 10 or 11 weeks before Burrow went on absolute MVP tear. Gino was right there statistically. I'm not saying number 1 quarterback.
Sure, and I think a lot of that's feeling out the team. You got a new
Well,
coach.
he was throwing 45 times a game. It was insane. As a Seahawk fan, you are not used to that. Even Russell Wilson's prime years, a good Russell Wilson day was 30 attempts.
Yeah, that's a lot.
30 attempps for Russ. That is, and he hit on 4 of them. Hey man, he's Super Bowl champ in blue and green. You know what I'm saying? When's the last time the Raider got a chip?
I didn't say.
Okay, just checking.
Bird, damn.
How many do the Seahawks have?
1 overall.
Okay.
One brother. Yeah, I think honestly though, we're getting back to being McDonald's defense is coming into play, and that will be the overall identity of my team.
It's nice to see that growth.
Agreed. Thank you. I
I'm
appreciate
missing
that.
it. I'm missing a lot this
because
season.
I know that's probably hard for you to say.
All right, Trevor, I got a couple of questions for you.
Oh.
Now that your season's basically over,
Hey, I was out 3 weeks ago.
what is your number 1 need for draft pick when you pick at like 12 or whatever you're at?
So the last time the Niners had this high of a pick was when we were riddled with injuries and we ended up getting Bosa. We're not picking that high in the draft, but I'm at this point. I'm really just I don't care if we win or lose the rest of our games. Losing doesn't matter to me. I'm hoping we're gonna have a higher pick in the draft. I hope we hit it right, and I feel like it's gonna be on probably the defensive line. We're probably looking someone opposite of Bosa or a D tackle. There's a chance, a small chance, we look tackle with Trent Williams. I mean, he's missed games. He hasn't been as good this year. He's pretty old. If that guy happens to be there, I think they consider it. But more likely than not, we're taking a tackle in the second or third. We're taking a defensive end or tackle in the first or second.
Charlie, you got something you want to say?
Well, what I was gonna say was like, given the needs of your team, that's a perfect spot to draft in.
Yes,
like, you know
it's not a bad spot. There's going to be
people are going to get pushed
quality
above
player.
those picks, whether it be the quarterbacks or a different position like the wide receivers.
The only bad thing for Trev on that defensive line thing is that there are no good receivers in the draft other than like really 2 or 3.
Definitely not the class like it was last year.
So, and the quarterbacks aren't there. So some of the good defensive ends / defensive tackles could go high.
Lest we
real
forget
high.
Byron Murphy fell to 16.
Well, he was a second defensive player taken.
And
this year,
quarterbacks push those guys back.
There'll be more
he was
defensive
the
players taken.
first. Latu was taken right before him. That's right.
There will be more defensive players taken in the top 10
Yeah,
that
I
were
agree.
taken in the whole first round of the NFL draft last year.
No.
Yeah, and I know it's just got to hit that player.
There's a couple positions we could use for sure.
No, I was just.
That could be a huge difference.
Okay, question 2.
Yes, go for it. Hit the draft, though. Hit the draft.
How much are you paying Purdy?
Ooh, I like
Um,
that question.
I think I pay him hopefully around 50 mil. 45 would be ideal. 50 would be good. I'd feel really good about that.
That's
He'd be
level-headed. That's
he'd-
based right there.
And I think that's what they should offer him because you're paying him a year early. He's gonna want that money because he's getting paid nothing right now. And
You're not a year early. This is his fourth. This is his third year, going into his fourth year. You
We
technically
don't
don't
have to pay him for another season, technically.
Okay.
But yeah, no, I don't think that's good business. I don't think that's what the Niners are going to do because, especially with the year that we've had, you can get him at probably a better price than you could have if we would have been the team we thought we were going to be.
With paying him $50 million.
Which does make
Who's gone?
sense.
Debo is obviously the guy that's gone. He's the cap casualty. We're not going to get the value that I believe we should because of the year that he's having. He, I believe, leads the team in drops
Yes, he does.
after complaining about not getting the ball.
Yes, he did.
And
So
then also
that's
dropping an absolute.
Touchdown.
Yes.
I mean, it was a bare minimum a strong game. You can't call it a tud necessarily.
You know, a change of scenery might be good for his head. Maybe he becomes that player again.
I know,
But-
he's a talker, dude. I'm not a big fan of these talkers.
I love his play, though. I did, at
It's
least
declining.
last season. This season, again, okay, so we're getting into it. I was into the Niners for my fandom, but I
We're
just...
here. We're here now.
We're here now.
We're
That
here
was my
now.
last question. I wanted to add into it.
We're here now.
Other than the doofus that quit on you, which I think we're all in.
We got to talk about
that's
that
crazy.
for sure. Let's talk about that right now.
Which is crazy, right? That a dude literally doesn't go in and play. Dude, Greenlaw came back. What do you think? You were going to start over that fool?
You were brought in to beat the linebacker until he got back. And
Yeah.
then when he gets back, you're so butthurt
But
that you take it as disrespect, that you're going to disrespect your teammates, the team,
And the crazy
and the NFL. Like, the team released him. I hope he doesn't get another job because I wouldn't want a quitter on my team. And that's
No
exactly
quitters.
what he did.
he's a quitter.
It's not like there's so many other ways he could have handled this to look better for himself.
He could have just went out and played the fucking game.
That would have been the best solution, but this guy apparently was so up into his emotions and let that mix in with his business that he's doing this shit. Like,
Same with Deontay Johnson didn't want to go in the game for the Raiders. What the fuck are you doing not going in? That makes no sense.
they're making, I don't know, you're making too much money now. I hope you don't make any more, because why be in this league when you don't want that guy on your team?
You know what's the greatest
Somebody got
thing
paid.
about
He's still good enough. He had a good enough season to be a starting linebacker somewhere, but I wouldn't want that.
Do you know what the craziest thing
This
about
with that.
Panther.
the whole story is what your locker room, meaning the Niners locker room, has gone through with Pearsall getting shot. Travarius Ward lost a child and came back. Trent Williams also had a stillborn child and is coming back from injury. All are trying to get back on the field.
Like, Greenwell
Well,
has
not all
way
of them,
more
but
equity
usually.
than you do, and all those players that
They
you
all
just
said he was the
talked
heart and
about.
soul of the defense.
I mean, it's ridiculous. I love what Kittle said. I love what Travarius Ward said.
Right in the heat battle. too. I
Sucker
love
shit.
it. I love it.
Travarius Ward said that's sucker shit.
Suck as shit.
And is
man.
in the
You
locker room that
disrespect
he
your
shared
Your
with them.
teammates.
Don't dress.
You disrespect
Don't
your
dress,
name.
because you're in your feelers already. You're in there before you even go into the game. You know
Candy ass.
that is beyond words.
Shit list. Where's that board?
Yeah, we're bringing it, and also just common sense for a
He's just
callback.
He chose the most destructive path for his that's what his choice was, the most destructive path, because he didn't
What a
get to
5-year-old
start after the guy that he was replacing came back.
I mean, okay, dude, we're talking about a full-grown man too. Javondre Campbell is older, right? He's in his 30s.
This was his 9th season.
Yeah, no.
And I mean, Drake, when he came in, he looked good, and he was sore, so he had to go back out. We had other linebacker injuries. Like, man, I hope we get him for an affordable contract because of his
You were
injuries,
also-
because he makes a difference.
You were
for that
also
defense,
playing a
man.
divisional game where you were only out by one score at
Yes.
the time you asked him
The
to play.
Niners
You
are
weren't,
clawing
it was
for a
right
playoff
there.
chance,
Yeah, no.
and you're like,
Pathetic.
nah.
and you shit
I'm
on
not about
everybody else in that organization. Everybody.
All right, go for it, Trev. What's your fan?
So, okay, with the Niners, I'm talking about, I've heard a lot of chatter recently about people be hating on Shanahan and Lynch. And not just people, Niner fans. And these fans just upset me so much. They are so
They're the
short-sighted.
fair weather fans. dude.
Exactly. Like, oh, we just were in 4 NFC championships, 2 Super Bowls, but now we have a bad season due to all the injuries, due to like everything that the team's been through. Fire the coach. Yeah, that's the smart answer.
Because they see it happening around the NFL, right? And they're not used to not winning because they're fair weather, so they just kind of got here.
And that kind of that kind of behavior is what the Jets are. You want to be the Jets when that's what you're trying to pull. You disregard everything that they have accomplished because of circumstances this season.
And a lot of them, but yeah, there
Yes,
been
and
very
I've-
unfortunate ones.
Yeah,
for
and
sure.
changes need to be made, but firing Shanahan and Lynch is not the changes that need to be made.
I'll take them both if you want to get rid
Yeah,
of
a
them.
lot of people would.
I don't
Next
think-
day, those
yeah.
guys get hired by Chicago.
There's most organizations
dumbest-
wouldn't take some of
Those fans just frustrate me so much. It's like you got a mind of a goldfish.
You can't.
You can't remember past one season.
That's the problem with such a large fan base. Like, let's be real about how big the Niners are in the NFL. They are huge, especially out here on the West Coast. They are a fucking massive portion of the NFL fan base, right? So there's going to be some really diehard and knowledgeable Niner fans, Allah, and, some other people. But you also have those fucking people who are like, oh, we didn't go 13-4, fire the coach. It's the fucking worst year I've ever seen out of the Niners. Well, yeah, because you just bought your crispy fucking new Brock Purdy jersey 3 days ago, and you haven't even taken the tag off. Like, you can't listen to those. A real Niner fan knows to stay the course right now. Because, if this continues for a couple more years, then you revisit. But
Then that makes too much sense, Chuck. And we're fans. And we're irrational.
Fanatic.
Short for fanatic.
Fanatic.
And that's what I makes me crazy. Like when I hear it more than I think I should for
Well, 'cause
everything that the team is and what it has been.
Because you're listening to Niners media from top to bottom.
Get on that Twitter, Trev. Get on that Twitter.
People calling into the
check us
radio
out
shows
on X,
too,
you know?
though. Like
Oh,
the
yeah, get on
fans,
that shit.
just like people have said they've been lifelong fans, and then after everything that they've been through, now is the time to like make that changes. Like, if you're a lifelong fan, did you not see the Tom Sula and the Chip Kelly and like everything after
Before Harbaugh. Before Harbaugh. Yeah, exactly.
Like, what?
I ain't no lifelong fan. I've seen that shit. I want to see it again.
Mariucci,
You're fucking
the
crazy.
linebacker Singletary. You had some bad coaches, dude.
It frustrates me so.
Charlie, where you at with your fandom, brother?
Oh, dude. Okay, I'm gonna shower some love on what is now formally the Pac-12. Okay, because if you look at some of the Big Ten won by a Pac-12 school, the Big 12 won by a Pac-12 school in their first year of competition. So it's not to say
Ain't no thing but chicken
I need
wing.
to say that the talent wasn't fucking there, and the conference didn't hold its fucking own.
Pac-12 fucked themselves on that TV deal.
They did well,
and just by having way too late a 10:30 kickoff is in the East Coast, which is unfortunately where the vast majority of the markets lie, right?
Yes.
East or South, which is still on that 2 to 3 hour plus range from a Western kickoff.
Bad advertising,
Terrible.
bad marketing,
but it wasn't because of the product. The Pac-12, Washington,
yes, there's plenty
Oregon,
of teams that are worth the watch.
Arizona State, all of these were like.
That Arizona State dude is going to get a deal somewhere.
But I want to shine light on the idea that we don't need to buckle under the fact that the Pac-12 wasn't worthy. They came in and actually took over other conferences. Now, Oregon is a different beast altogether. I hate to fucking say that because I just earlier in the pod said anybody but Oregon in the CFP, and I still stand by that. But
they're lamenting themselves as now a blue blood in college.
If Dan Lanning buries his heels in and continues to run that program forward, there will be nothing to stop them.
They will
nothing.
I don't think you leave for another job.
Why would it?
You're at the point where now you are.
You're there. No, you're the spotlight is on you. You're number one.
You're up there with Ohio State.
Yeah,
Alabama.
absolutely. Oh, you've had the Nike money.
You're up there as one of the prestigious.
Though with the NIL now.
And your jerseys, all that shit.
Oh.
You're up there as one of the top 3 teams in the nation now in prestige, right?
Right, meaning
Ohio State,
meaning like
Texas.
Well, and none of those jobs are technically open. Right? Like where are you gonna go?
But that's what's higher. Like literally, what's higher than Oregon right now? Maybe Texas, maybe
Alabama, Georgia, probably the team. Ohio State.
Maybe if you came from one of them, or they're like the alma mater.
There's maybe 5 teams, maybe.
Right.
And are those teams moving on from their coaches? Probably
no.
not.
Right. So
and I don't think that they're leaving. No, this isn't like a stepping stone to the NFL. If you're a college coach, you're kind of a college coach.
Ooh, but what if you're an NFL coach now making your first college debut?
Hey, there we go. That's nice.
5 years. 5 years, $50 million.
And gonna get his boy hired when he leaves next year to go back to the NFL.
I think that from what I've read,
Man.
You know that's what's gonna happen.
From what I've read,
he built it in.
From what I've read, it's 2 staffs. So the GM, Mike Lombardo, he brought in, he's worked with before, will basically do the recruiting and everything like that, and he will just do the coaching. Which, when you listen to him on like the Peyton Manning and Eli Manning telecast, and you listen to him talk football, that dude is so knowledgeable about like the whole game. Like listening to him talk and explain, like, oh yeah, you got to do this here. Why aren't you doing this here? That's just not good execution. Like he is so knowledgeable in the game of football. So for him going to coach like at UNC, and he doesn't have to do any of the recruiting stuff, that could be the best thing for that school. He just brings guys in and teaches. Maybe that's what he wants to do. Is all he wants to do is kind of be like Dion, where you just teach kids.
Is it weird? Does it just feel weird? It just feels weird,
it's different.
Right? It feels weird. After 40 plus years in the NFL, you go back to college.
But maybe you want to coach. Maybe you want to coach. Maybe you want to coach instead of being dealing with these other like dudes.
Well, he's so many wins away from being the all-time winningest coach in the NFL. And he's like, coaches are teams aren't bringing me in. I want to coach. I'm football. I don't give a fuck. I'm just gonna go coach football.
I
If that's
like-
in college.
I
that's
like
in
that
college. I
take if
like
that's
that.
where it's actually coming from.
I don't
I
think
think that's what it is.
I don't think he's bouncing.
Well, he also has ties to North Carolina. His dad was an assistant coach.
And at North Carolina and Navy. Remember he went to the Navy and helped them coach last year for a little bit, like went and talked to him a couple times.
And all right, and since they brought him in, gotta talk some expectations.
Okay.
Like,
You got an ACC that's wide open. What are your expectations?
I just expect them to play really good football. I mean, we got to get to we see where the recruiting
Who's
class and all
quarterback?
that stuff is.
Who's quarterback?
But
That's
he's
what
going to
matters.
be. I think those teams are going to be really good and really like.
well, I mean,
You're far more attractive.
SMU
Right now.
is gonna pay
Although
the money
Matt
to
Brown
compete.
was there, so it's
Clemson's
not
Clemson. I expect
Miami.
Miami's been better. Like I expect
Florida
with
State.
Belichick, I expect them to
They
bounce
had a
back.
real bad
They
this year,
can't be
but
bad.
Yeah, they can't be that bad again.
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
There's
And
no way.
Yeah,
But-
they were historically awful
You
for
put that thing
program
on the side
this
of your
year.
helmet, dude. That's like expectations.
yes, 100%. But I think with the Belichick hire, I would expect that team to have the best defense in the ACC after the following season.
I would expect them to be a run football team. They're going to
Yes.
have a great defense, and I bet they play really good football, dude.
I'm not saying they can't. I'm
I
not
kind
saying
of like
they
it.
won't.
I'm digging it. I'm digging it.
I mean, it's just,
I got no hate towards it.
I'm not hating it. It's
Yes,
just
you are, Chuck. Yes, you are.
it's just very odd.
Maybe
Very odd.
Well, maybe he just wants to coach kids and teach the game, and he's done with the NFL.
sure.
Or maybe he wants to
Well-
get his son hired on and he can coach a year and then get back into the NFL the following
Yes,
year.
he's going to bring in the guys that he's familiar with. His son, you would expect to be the guy.
He's gonna
and
LeBron James.
Maybe the
He's
guy
gonna
that
LeBron
replaces
James
him.
this whole situation.
Possibly.
No, not possibly. He built it into his contract that he wouldn't sign unless the successor to him was his son. That's built into the contract. They will litigate that if that does not happen after he leaves.
We'll see what happens.
Bum, bum, bum.
Check us out on X and Instagram.
Absolutely, please.
Buzzsprout, Spotify, YouTube, if you're obviously catching these pretty faces. Some really good beers. We had quite a review. We gotta go. We gotta make sure that like next week the CFP starts, right? Which is a big fucking deal.
Yes, we got tons of games to talk about. Talk about the
Where it's headed after that. I know we didn't really get into who we thought was going to win those games. There's going to be some good ones. Friday night starts Indiana and Notre Dame, and then basically everything else is on Saturday. The Tennessee-Ohio State game is going to be hot.
That should be. That's a great matchup. That's a great first round matchup.
I really hope that I don't know, man. Texas, I don't know if I want Texas to win or not.
Nobody knows.
I don't really know how I
Except
feel
for
about
Texas
this whole
fans.
thing. I'm rooting for Oregon. I don't know how much mayhem. But
You
I
really want to see?
I don't. Well, that and fuck, dude. Tennessee versus Oregon, Ohio State. That's the second time they got to play them. Dude, that's fucked up, dude. That is so fucked up. I want Arizona State to go hella far. I think that'd be fucking sick too. It would be. That'd be the coolest thing if Arizona State went hella far. Boise State going far, cool. That'd be cool too. We'll see what happens. It's all gonna be exciting. Good shit.
Excellent.
Stay around for Pod 77.
Cheers, boys. Finish out.
Oh, we did.
I got a little bit. I got a
You
little
got
bit.
a lot of it.
You guys ready? Here we go.
And we'll laugh.
I won't cut it until the end of this. You ready?
All right.
Trev, he almost got you, dude.
Almost.
Bye, everybody.
Good job.
Good job, Charlie.